Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is Binky and today we're going to be talking about something that got a little bit of buzz out there. It's REFY and it's the lipstick. So I ended up getting two colors from the collection during the Sephora sale and haven't tried this one on yet, but I wore this one a couple times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put both of these on. And then we're going to discuss this because there's actually a lot to discuss just because REFY, this one I wanted to leave unopened just to show you how it works because there's a little bit of a trick to it. Okay, so the first one is Mocha. And I will say that the colors online are, like they usually are, different than what they really are. So this is what it looks like. And then what you do is twist this up to get the product. And I'm hoping it's showing right there. Not my favorite applicator, and the reason why is it is really tricky, especially when you use it the first time. But this is Mocha, so you want to just put it there kind of on the center of the lip. This is what helped me, and even still you can see it's very difficult to work with. This applicator is not the easiest. Okay, so the nice thing about the applicator, let's start with the positive, is that you can use it to blur out the lines a little bit, which is quite nice. The tip of it does help with a lot of control once it's laid down. The problem is you have to be careful because a lot of product will come out. So what I found myself doing was then correcting it like this to make it work. Now, most people aren't going to want to do that. To be honest with you, it's not really handy. What helps is having a lip liner. I don't like carrying a lip liner very much. It's just not me. I'm a little bit too lazy for that. But for you who are not, then you can I would recommend it. But I did wear these without lip liner. And this is what it looks like. Really pretty vampy color, at least for me, because I'm so fair. These come out more vampy, but if you have deeper skin tones, it's just going to be beautiful. I think they're just beautiful, period. I love colors like this, especially this time of year. Very beautiful color, but there's a little bit of a learning curve with these. So what I'm going to do is I am going to show you the next one, and I'm going to open this up and let you see how this works, because there's a little bit of a trick to get it to work the first time, and it could be a little bit frustrating, and there could be a lot of product that's wasted. The box is a little bit hard to open. I just wish they would flip open, but they don't as much, and that's okay because I keep everything in boxes just to read everything and for organization purposes. But this is what it looks like. Of course, no color. Here's the problem that I made the mistake with the first one, is you have to turn it several times. But what you want to make sure is that you don't overdo it, because if you do, it completely filled up and squished out everywhere. So it's going to take at least 50 clicks. I know. Oh, there it is. So it's starting to come out. So you really want to be careful with that, because if you're too crazy with it, it just falls straight down and make a mess on your clothing or in general. So I haven't tried this one yet, so let's check it out. Ooh. See, it's very hard to work with on the first application. Extremely hard to work with. Okay, so that's Mulberry. So this one's a little bit brighter. It has a little bit more of a red tint to it, like a red purpley tint, which I think is really, really pretty. I like them both, but I think this one may be a little bit more flattering because it brightens my face a little bit more than maybe the other one. But here's the thing, I don't care. I love those vampy colors, so I know, I'm okay with it. That's why you use more blush. But this is more of like a moussey type lip product. So I was reading online that some people thought that this was more of, they thought it would dry down. It does not dry down. So no, it is not a matte or a semi-matte that's going to dry and hang on the lips. It's not like that. It's actually like a moussey texture of a lipstick. So it never dries down. Also, it transfers really badly. So here you go. Quite a lot comes off of it. So what you can do if you find the color to be too intense and you want it to calm a bit, or maybe be not transfer as much, what you can do is you can blot your lips, and then it's a really pretty color as well. I really like this as well. It's just not as moussey, so it really depends on what you like. There's still going to be, it's still going to transfer onto things, but not as much as if you put this onto a cup or a straw. You know, it's going to come off like that. And I can see how some people wouldn't like that, but it's really beautiful, but it's really thick and moussey. So as far as wear time, because it's a wet formula, you're going to have to put this back on, I would say every 2 to 3 hours is what I found, is because over time, if I was drinking or talking, what would happen is it would disappear and then leave a lip liner. So it was almost like I had a lip liner on. Yeah, it was interesting because my friend mentioned that. I didn't even look, and he's like, oh, you lined your lips, but you didn't fill in your lips. And I was like, what? And then I looked at him, oh my gosh, it basically what happened was disappeared. So you'll have, it gravitates out towards the outer part of your lip, and then it disappears in the center. So to keep it where you want it to, you can either do a lip liner underneath and line your lips, and then when it fades away, you'll have color underneath, because it doesn't stain that much. I got it on my fingers, and you can see it's not overly staining. So you're not going to have that stain to give it a more delicate wear away, if that makes sense. So it's going to make it look like a lip liner, and you need to put lipstick on. So that's just something to look at. Also, you have to be careful. It can get on your teeth because it is very moussey. So yeah, so a few tricks with this when you use it. The applicator is very tricky. I'm going to be honest, I don't much care for the applicator. I almost wish it was the dip kind where you can use a doe foot. I feel like it would be much easier. Especially in the first time you use it, just beware the applicator is, you don't click too many times or to just make a big blob. And even when I did it delicately, because the color isn't completely on the applicator, it just goes in one spot, and it's a little bit of a pain. Even every time you use it, the application can be a little bit sloppy unless you really blot it out with the pen and move it around, and lip liner is going to be your good friend. As far as the formula, I don't mind the moussiness. It gives that opaqueness, that richness. It's beautiful when it's on the lips. It's gorgeous. But as long as you're not eating or drinking or doing too much, then it'll last beautifully. But if you do anything, it's going to wear off very quickly because of that moussiness. So, so the pros. Let's always start with the pros. The colors are rich and beautiful and vampy and wonderful, and they're going to, depending on what you're looking for, going to look great, on fair skin all the way to deeper. If you are fair like myself and not into vampy colors, these are not for you, but they are fantastic. The colors are beautiful. I don't mind the moussiness of it. I think it's gorgeous when it's on. The cons are that it does wear away quickly and leaves that lip liner effect, and the applicator is not my favorite. It really is not, and it's a difficult beginning to get it to work. So it just depends what you're looking for. I love them. I love these, and I will use them, but I don't know if I would buy them again. I love the colors, but I think I would much prefer them in almost a bullet form, like a lipstick bullet, or semi-like matte, where it clings on a little bit more. But I think that's not the purpose of these. The purpose of these are to be more moisturizing, but especially during the winter with the hair flipping around, if you have long hair like I do, you may not, that's going to be fun. because these colors are vampy. But yeah, so that is my review on these new lip products from REFY. And with that, have a fabulous day, my friends. Bye.